Hi folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. You know, this time of the year, bringing fishing tournaments to our area is the biggest part of my life. And I'm here with Linda, who shares this with me. And every day, this is what our life is bringing these tournaments. And I think we have a lot of insights to share that we've got from working with these tournament directors and the anglers that come here. And so, Linda, I want you to join me today with some of the things that you've learned and some of the questions that you have now, since you're spending so much of your life in really embedded into this whole tournament fishing thing that we do for this area. And we do it for a reason. We don't do it for money. We do it for the monies that can come into our businesses. That's the reason for all of this. This isn't to make any one of our towns hold a pot of gold someplace. This is to be spread out to all the people that live there in the businesses.
Thanks for having me, Don. And you're absolutely right. There is the focus on our local business community because we know that that's very important. They supply ice, they supply sanitation services when we need it, they supply golf carts. These are just amazing subsets, if you will, of what goes into the planning and execution of a fishing tournament.
Well, you know, you bring up something right now that I really wanted to talk about, the fact that that I think people don't realize all the elements that it takes to put one of these tournaments on. We have to reach out to our business community for the support that we need, and then the rewards hopefully go back to the community itself. So let's talk about some of the people that have helped us so much along the way here.
Absolutely. A big shout out, if you will, to the formerly Alex's Ice Service, but now Brown and Carbonic.
And people may wonder why ice is so important. We need ice for every one of these tournaments.
That's right. When the water is too warm to sustain the life of a fish, they will literally go belly up. And so ice helps to maintain the temperature because, as you've shared with me, bass are coming from great depths in the river, and so they go from a very cool environment to a very warm environment very rapidly.
In this case, we need tons of ice on the site of each of these tournaments. So when the anglers leave in the morning, they have ice that they can put in their live wells to keep that water as cold as it has to be. And maybe using the word cold isn't right, but is cool, because smallmouth bass in particular can't withstand the stresses of warm water like a largemouth can. Mm-hmm. So anyway, then when these fish come in, our release boats have to be full of water that we put the fish that have already been caught back in, and that water has to be at a certain temperature. So by having a facility that can provide us with the ice that we need is so critical.
Yes, and in fact, we actually witnessed during this most recent tournament with the National Pro Fishing League, we witnessed anglers being very proactive and taking bags of ice, sometimes 4 bags of ice, to their boats and placing those
in the morning before they leave.
Exactly, in their live wells, so that they could keep the temperature of the water. I think Barb Elliott told us that it was between 68 and 70 degrees was what they were trying to shoot for.
Trying to maintain.
Yes, to maintain the life of the bass.
So Linda, these other businesses that have been so critical and helpful for us, we wanted to give them credit for what they do.
Absolutely. Another one that comes to mind is AJ Portables, and they provided sanitation services. We have, at the Messina intake, we have lovely pavilions that do have hand washing and bathroom facilities, but in a time of, early morning and lots of folks using them, or in the afternoon when folks are coming in, the anglers are coming in, but they've brought their families with them, and the little children sometimes need to go to the washroom, they need to wash their hands. So we've added additional layers of sanitation services, porta potties, hand washing stations, so folks can be comfortable as they're enjoying all the festivities.
Yeah, that's a huge part of what we have to provide on site to make these things happen. Was there any other businesses that you wanted to mention that have really helped us?
I would like to mention the gentleman who provide, and I don't have his last name, but Carl, who provides
Yes.
golf carts
That
through
is
a
so
la carte.
critical.
Yes.
Because when we have a number of people, or when we're parking, our teams that park the cars in the morning, or park the trucks with their trailers on them, this is a whole team effort that takes place. But we have to be able to get the anglers back after we park them back to the water as quickly as possible so they can start on their journey. And we have a number of golf carts and golf cart drivers that we use. And Carl has been the source of all our. And if Carl's listening, he'll know who we're talking about. His business is in Watertown, and he makes the trek up and leaves his carts there at the intake, and we try to take care of them and provide security for the whole time of the tournament. But
Yes.
but they're a critical part.
Yes.
They're our transportation device during the tournament
And
to
in-
make sure we can get people from one point to the other.
Yes, and I would just mention that in addition to bringing the anglers back and forth, if there are folks who can't walk, we also provide a service to them. We get them back to their cars, or get them into shady areas. So we're the volunteers who provide the driving services. They're second to none in terms of their dedication to bring folks back and forth, so they're not having to walk in intense heat.
It's amazing to see those golf carts zipping along, bringing people to and fro. We bring this up because I think people may not be aware of all that it takes to put one of these tournaments together for folks.
That's very true. There's
And
so much.
We're so proud of the people that help us.
Yes.
And this gives us a chance to thank them.
Yes. And behind the scenes, the planning that is done to put these events together takes months of advanced preparation. So it's not day before.
They don't just come about.
No. It's,
It
lots
does.
of planning.
Lots of phone calls and conference calls and discussions, and
Yes.
making sure that we adhere to everything that they expect, and they conform to everything that we expect for people coming to our area.
Absolutely. And we hear great reviews, because folks say they are never treated as well as they're treated in Messina. So kudos to the town for that.
Well, anyway, until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner and Linda with the North Country Fishing Report.